I'm going to tell you a short story today. And you know, children, you can do a few things after you listen to the story, not simply just listen and forget. Firstly, you can tell this story to others. No, other people who are not there today on the class, though your parents, your other people at home, you can tell this story. Then you can remember some words from the story, some characters that were there in the story, and you can make your own stories with those characters. Write those. You can write your own story in any language, whichever language you want. You can make up your own stories with the characters that are there in the story. And you can also make drawings. What happens in the story, which scene stays in your mind, which scene you remember, which scene you don't like, which one you really like. You can make those drawings. And it will be lovely, like Shashi Aunty and Santosh Uncle and everybody said. We see those pictures and those words and stories on your WhatsApp. It's going to be so beautiful for us. We know good morning, good night every day. Everyone has tea, coffee every day. Those are everyday things. No, we need not put it on the group. But things which you do and you think and you make and you create, if you put those pictures on WhatsApp, it's going to be so beautiful. So more sharing can happen like that. Okay, so I'll tell this nice, short little story and you listen nicely, and whatever you remember, you do with that. You make more stories, you make pictures, you make drawings, you can color or black and white, you can write the words down, you can do so many, play a word game, all yourself only. And then you share on the group what you did with the story. Okay, show me your fingers, show me your thumbs up, everybody, if you understood. Yeah, Artha Aita, no, all of you? Okay, so we'll start. Huh? So once upon a time, there was a huge forest, really big forest. And it was beautiful because it had the biggest and the tallest trees, full of branches covered with leaves of all shades, dark green, light green, shades in between, some yellow leaves, some brown leaves. Really a beautiful forest. So obviously all the animals, they love to stay in that forest. All the birds love to be on the trees. And out of all the trees, there was one banyan tree. Have you all seen a banyan tree, anybody? No? You should.
Alad Mara. Alad Mara nodidira?
Yeah, you've seen, no? How big and beautiful it is. So there was this old and huge banyan tree, which was loved the most by all the birds. Whichever bird came to that forest to make its home there, first went to that banyan tree. And everybody was welcome. It was such a big tree. Thousands of birds could live on it comfortably. It was so big. And the tree loved the birds. So the tree welcomed all the birds. Come, come, come. Make your nest on my branches. Make your nest in my leaves and stay happily. Now on the very top of this tree lived one owl. You know what an owl is? I don't know the Kannada word for owl. No, you know what an owl is?
Gube.
And the owl is supposed to be a very clever, wise bird. Yes, it's like an old person who knows everything. So this owl used to stay at the top of the tree, and anybody who had any problems, they would go to the owl, and the owl would solve all their problems. So the owl would say, all of you can stay here, all of you can have fun, but one rule, nobody will fight with each other. If you fight, then you have to leave the banyan tree and go somewhere else. So all the birds agreed and they said, no, we will not fight. Now on the same tree, there was one parrot. Now you know what a parrot is? What's a parrot, Shashi Aunty? No. Yeah, what's a parrot? It's green color, red beak. Do you know what a parrot is, no?
Giri.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there was this parrot. And he was the friendliest bird in the entire tree. His name was Mittumia. He used to go, Mittu, Mittu, Mittu. So everybody used to call him Mittumia. And he was the best friend anybody could have. Because no matter what happened, who needed help, Mittumia would go flap, 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 flap his wings and go, hey, what happened? What happened? Whatever problem they had, Mittumia would say, wait, 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 I will help you. And he would really help them. So one day, when he woke up in the morning, early morning, Mittumia has to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark, but he would wake up and he would go and visit all the friends on the tree. So he woke up early in the morning that day and he was just hopping from branch to branch, flying a little from branch to branch, when he heard somebody crying. Mittu said, oh my God, one of my friends is crying. Who's crying? Who's crying? Who's crying? And there was this pigeon family. So Mama pigeon, Papa pigeon, and there were 2 baby pigeons. And Mama pigeon was crying and crying and crying. And Papa pigeon didn't know what to do. He was fluttering and flapping and going all over the place. And Mittu said, hello, what's the matter with you all? What happened? Why are you crying? And Mama said, look at my little baby. It's just learned to fly. Little bit it can fly and it's gone. We told the baby, don't go, don't fly now. It's not time yet. But did not listen. My other baby is in the nest, but my one baby is gone. What do I do? It's too tiny. It cannot protect itself. It cannot fly back. I don't know where it's gone. So Mittu said, no need to cry so much. Wait, I am a fast flyer. I've got lovely strong wings. I'll go take a look. And he didn't waste another minute. He just took off from the tree. You know how a plane takes off? Shh, like that. And Mittu just went, glided up into the sky and went, flapped his wings, glided his wings up and down and went swooping all over. And suddenly, after a short distance, he saw the little pigeon just sitting quietly on the ground, all frightened and scared. It was trying to flap its little wings, but it was tired. Couldn't fly. So Mittu went straight down and he said, baby pigeon, why did you leave your nest? You're not old enough. Mama told you. You should have listened to Mama. Baby pigeon said, I just wanted to try. So Mittu said, yes, I understand. That's okay. Now wait. I'm going to put you on my back and carefully I'm going to fly you back to your nest. Okay? Then you have to wait till you grow up and you learn how to fly. Then you can fly out. So he picked up the little baby pigeon, carefully put it on its back and very, very carefully balanced himself and slowly flew back to the banyan tree. And then all the birds saw him coming with the baby pigeon and they went and rushed to Mama pigeon and said, your baby's fine, your baby's fine. Mittu's getting him back. Everybody flapped their wings and clapped very hard for Mittu. They were so happy. An owl sat on his topmost branch and saw everything and nodded his wise head and said, that's nice. That's how we must help our friends. And then again, days passed. Then again, one day, Mittu was happily flying around the whole world, going here, going there. He was a happy-go-lucky fellow. And it was evening, so he said, well, let me go back home. And he came flying back. Before he could reach his nest, he heard a tremendous commotion, galata, near the banyan tree. And said, oh my God, something seems to have happened. What has happened? And he came flap, flap, flap. Hello, tell me, what's happened? And they said, everybody said, we don't know what to do. There's a serious problem we are facing, but we have no idea what to do. And I said, okay, what is it? And then some of the birds said, you know, there's a Mr. Crow on the tree. Mittu said, of course I know Mr. Crow. I chat with him every morning. So what happened to Mr. Crow? And the bird said, 2, Mr. Crow was taking a flight, a very fast, sweeping flight. And poor Mr. Crow did not notice this thin wire that was stretched across from 2 electric poles. And poor Mr. Crow went and hit against that wire. It struck his right wing, and his right wing is cut. And he's just dropped there, and he's just sitting over there because he can't fly. And we don't know what to do. We saw it happening. We know where he is. So Mittu said, "Oh, come on, you people. How can you be like this? You have to try at least. Come with me." And they said, "But it's getting dark, and birds are not supposed to fly in the dark." So Mittu said, "Doesn't matter. This is an emergency. Come on, we have to do something." And he called many birds from the tree, and they all flew to where poor Mr. Crow was just sitting in pain and in sorrow because he felt this was the end. If he just sat there, some dog or some cat, somebody will come by and pounce on him and kill him off. Or at the most, he will just die sitting over there. So he was very sad. And then he heard the rush of wings. He felt the air of all those wings fluttering. He said, "What's happening? Are these my bird friends?" And he looked up and he said, so many of his bird friends from the banyan tree had come to him and said, "Oh my God, have you all come to me to be with me in my last moments?" And then Mittu came and said, "Hey, don't talk like that. What rubbish are you saying? What last moments? We're not letting you die here all alone." So Mr. Crow said, "But you can't help it. I mean, I can't fly. My wings are all cut. It'll take a few days to heal. And I need to be in a safe place. I need to eat. Somebody has to get me food." Mittu said, "Everything will happen. You just keep quiet and do what I tell you." Then he told all the birds, "Okay, fine. Let us all join our wings together. Let's come into a tight circle and we'll crawl our way under Mr. Crow's belly, and all of us will wait there till we've settled him on our wings, and then together we'll rise up and we'll fly and we'll carry Mr. Crow back." Bird said, "This has never been done before. It's not possible." So Mittu said, "What do you mean? Something which has never been done before is not possible? Hey, that's how things happen. That's how inventions happen and discoveries happen. Don't be such fools, all of you. Of course it can happen. At least let us try." And they all said, they got really enthusiastic with Mittu's enthusiasm, and they said, yes, let's try. So they tried once, but it didn't happen. They were sad. And Mittu said, "No, we can't stop it just once. Come on." They said, "It's getting dark. It's almost pitch black. We cannot even see our way back." Mittu said, "We have flown back to the banyan tree day after day. We don't need the light to fly back. Come on, I'm going to take you back." And Mr. Pigeon said, "Hello, I'm there with you. I never forget my ways. I'm called a homing bird. Wherever my home is, I can go back there. Don't worry. I'll show you the path. Let's do as Mittu says." So once and twice and thrice and 4 times, they tried. How many times we don't know. But then finally, one try, and suddenly it happened. They were able to rise up in the air with Mr. Crow balanced, and then everybody said, "Careful, careful, careful, we have to do this together, Up, and everybody's wings went up, and down, everybody's wings came down, up and down, and Mr. Pigeon was flying ahead and calling out, "Caw, caw, caw," so they could hear him and they could follow him, and slowly, something which had never been done before was managed. They took Mr. Crow back and put him safely in his nest. And of course, you must be, knowing who would go and get food for Mr. Crow every day. Of course, Mittu. Because Mittu was the kind who would help everybody. Every morning, he would tell Mr. Crow, "How are you feeling today? Is your wing healing?" And Mr. Crow would try and say, It's still paining a little bit, but yes, it's healing. I need some more time. Mittu would say, not a problem. I'm going to go get it. What do you want to eat today? Mr. Crow said, oh, just get me anything. And Mittu would go fly far and wide and try to find food that Mr. Crow liked, and he would get the food back. So in this way, it kept happening, Every other day, some episode, something would happen, some emergency, some accident, and Mittu would be there and he would do things for everyone. And then came a time when Mr. Owl noticed that it's been 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many days. Where is Mittu? Because Mittu was always heard. Parrots, how loud they are. You can hear them all the time. And then he started calling all the birds. Hello, Mr. Crow. I see that you're fine now. Your wing is healed. You're flying all over the world. Where is Mittu? And Mr. Crow said, oh, yeah. Now that you say it, I haven't seen Mittu in quite some time. Mr. Owl said, oh, okay. And he called Mr. Pigeon. He said, hello, Mr. Pigeon, Mrs. Pigeon, where's your friend Mittu? And they said, oh, yes, now that you say it. Oh, Mr. Owl, we've been so busy with our children. We've been really teaching them to fly and to find food. We've been so busy. Yeah, we haven't seen Mittu. So Mr. Owl said, no, you've been busy and you haven't seen Mr. Mittu and you haven't thought about him either. So Pigeon just kept quiet. And in this way, Mr. Owl asked everybody, the crow, the myna, the other parrots, so many birds. Nobody had seen Mr. Mittu and nobody had bothered to even find out. Then Mr. Owl got a little upset. And he called all the birds and said, come and sit in the branches around me. I cannot shout and scream. I'm going to talk very gently. That's how I talk. You will all have to listen. And they all came. They really respected Mr. Owl. So they all came. And then Mr. Owl said, I'm very upset with your behavior. Here is this one member of our society who has been so helpful. Mittu has been the best friend for all of you. I have been observing for months and he always helps. He always asks. He always comes forward. He takes risks for all of you. He doesn't have to do anything for himself. And look at all of you. You took his help. You became all right. You settled and now you're busy. It hasn't even struck you to find out. They all felt ashamed, started looking down. And Mr. Crow said, you're right, Mr. Owl. How terribly selfish we have been. How could we not even think of our best friend? We don't even know where he is and what's happened to him. So Mr. Owl said, immediately, all of you set out. Go fly far and wide, do what you can. I want to know where this bird is. I want to know where our best friend is and what's happened to him. And immediately there was this flutter of wings and huge clamor and noise, and they all went flap, 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 flap all over the place. They couldn't find him. They flew far, they flew near, they flew high, they flew low, they flew into the city, they flew over the village, they flew over the river, over the stream, and they couldn't see a sign of Mittu anywhere. And then the pigeon babies had an idea. They used to love Mittu. Mittu loved them. They were the only ones who had noticed that Mittu actually lived in this hole in the trunk of the banyan tree. There was a hole. And when Mama Pigeon and Papa Pigeon came back, they said, Mama, Papa, you know what? Do you know where Mittu lives? So everybody looked at each other and said, no, not really. We never noticed. And they said, shame on you. You don't even know where your best friend lives. He lives in that hole in the tree. Our banyan tree, there's a nice hole. They said, oh, really? We had never noticed. So they went to the hole and they all perched themselves on the branches near the hole. And Mr. Woodpecker went tuck, 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 tuck near the hole and said, Mittu, are you inside? Mittu, it's Mr. Woodpecker. Mittu, all the birds are here. Mittu, where are you? And as they tried to hear carefully, they heard a weak, feeble noise. They said, oh, there's somebody inside. And baby pigeon said, I'm going to see. Let me in. I'm little enough. I can go in. And baby pigeon went, sat at the edge of the hole, and he peeped inside and said, oh, Mr. Mittu is here and he's very sick. He's got high fever. He could not come out and fly in for so many days. He's weak. And they all said, oh my God, we've really neglected this. And then Mr. Owl said, go, get food for him, get water for him. Go, let me see, let me find out. And for the first time in his life, Mr. Owl came down from the topmost branch and went into the hole. And he used his beak and he petted Mr. Mittu very gently. He said, don't worry, Mittu. You've always helped everyone. You've never asked for anything for yourself. Today, we all are here and we all are going to do everything to help you. Don't be scared. You will be all right. Mr. Mittu felt so nice. He was weak. He hadn't eaten for such a long time. He was sick with fever and he smiled feebly and he said, thank you. Then all the birds took turns and they went and got some seeds and some guava and some chilies, everything that Mr. Mittu loved. And slowly, day by day, as they took care of him, Mr. Mittu started gaining his strength. He started moving his wings a little bit. Then one day he fluttered them a little bit, came out of the hole, and the entire banyan tree erupted and collapsed. They were so happy. Mr. Mittu is all right. He's fine. And then Mr. Owl said, Mittu, you have taught us such a beautiful lesson in friendship. You have been so beautiful and kind and loving to all of us. And now we are going to be like this with everybody else. We will follow your example always. And Mittu said, thank you. That's all I want, for all of us to be lovely friends, be with each other, help each other, and be together and happy. And you know, children, that day, every little bird and big bird on that banyan tree was the best friend for everybody else. They always helped. They had fights and arguments, but they settled it. Nobody ever took revenge. Nobody ever became angry for long. It was the happiest banyan tree in the whole world. That's the end of the story.
Nice.
You all like the story? Yes. Will you remember it and tell it to your other friends and sisters and brothers and cousins and people who are not there today listening to Champa Aunty? Yeah?
Yes.
I love telling you. I'll tell you many more stories. But I want to see what you do with the story. Story should not finish. It should go on. There were so many characters in the story. You can make up more stories. I made this up. I wrote this story. You can write your own stories. Make pictures, scenes of the story. What happened first? Then what happened? Then what happened? You can make a picture, series of pictures to tell the story. And put pictures of those pictures that you draw on WhatsApp. Yeah, it will be so nice. That. Okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
Lovely. Wonderful.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Champa.
Very nice, Champa.
Thank you so
Enjoyed
much.
it.
I